What's going on, guys? Andrew Piluk Hockey here. I am back with another video, and today we're going to be talking about James Van Riemsdyk and whether or not he could go to another team or stay with the Toronto Maple Leafs in the off-season. I thought I'd talk about this because places like Sportsnet and even TSN with their Leafs Lunch have inspired the fact that people are starting to talk about it again, and the fact that James Van Riemsdyk has been scoring quite a lot of goals lately and putting up points, so we'll get into that. Also, I'm going to be leaving some links down below. I'm not sure about the Patreon link yet, but let me know what you guys think about Patreon. I have some cool ideas. If you think I should start that up, let me know. But yeah, let's get right into this video. If you're new, make sure to subscribe. I'd love to have more hockey conversations with you. And yeah, so TSN said right off the bat that they believe that James Van Riemsdyk is going to free agency, and this is something that I've said before as well. I think that it would only be right for James Van Riemsdyk to at least test out free agency. The Maple Leafs might not have the money for him down the line. People are blaming it on Patrick Marleau. That's not the case, and by the way, Marleau is a guy that is going to be good for experience in the playoffs. As well as the Leafs could probably find a way to fit Van Riemsdyk into their cap room. It just depends on how much money he's going to get, which it could be a lot depending on some of the teams that are mentioned here. So just looking at his numbers, in 72 games he has 33 goals, 16 assists, and 49 points. Now I'm making this video on March 21st, so that could change. They have a game tomorrow against Nashville. But also, quickly before I forget, there will be a live stream tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern. I forgot to mention that, so if you want to check out the live stream, 7 p.m. Eastern, when you're watching this, it might already be over, so thank you if you were there. But 7 p.m. Again, back to JVR stats. Like I said, 28 years old, 72 games, 33 goals, 16 assists for 49 points. He scores a lot, and that's why he's going to get paid. That's why I mentioned there's a lot of teams that are going to be interested in his services. Now, TSN in Leafs Lunch mentioned, I think it was 6 or 7 teams. I've written a lot of notes down because there's some teams where I do agree with what they said, and then there's other teams where I'm not even sure why they mentioned them. But the obvious first one is the Toronto Maple Leafs, and whether or not they think that they can re-sign him. The Leafs may be able to keep him if they figure out what he wants, what they can work with, what kind of endorsements I guess they could throw together. It's going to be a big process going towards the summer, but I do believe he will go to free agency. So let's get into some of the teams that TSN mentioned, and these are some teams that I've mentioned before as well, discussing James Van Riemsdyk. And yeah, the Coyotes is one that they mentioned. Not sure that he would go there. They do have cap room. They do have a bad power play, so he would obviously be a good fit there for that. I just can't see it. They could offer him a lot of money, but you know, they have a good future. But is James Van Riemsdyk going to sacrifice, you know, winning in the next couple of years while, you know, he knows he's really going to put up his best years in the next 3-4 years? I'm not saying the Coyotes can't be a better team, but there's just other teams that will be involved in his services, in my opinion, that will be able to offer him similar money with a better team as well. So I would kind of take the Coyotes out of that list. The next is actually another team that I'm not sure would work. The Buffalo Sabres, who also have a pretty good future, obviously have Jack Eichel. They want to win, but I'm not sure if they're going to win in the next couple of years. Like, not the cup, but at least be like a contending team. Adding JVR would obviously fill a couple holes, but I don't know. I just can't see that. I don't see him going there. They have a good future, like I mentioned, and he would be a pretty good scoring threat for that team as well. And I don't know, I can't see James Van Riemsdyk going there unless they can give him the money that he wants and, you know, sell him on Buffalo. And again, this is no disrespect to Buffalo. I'm not sure why. I just don't think it's a good fit. The next team is the Columbus Blue Jackets. Now, I think that this is a pretty good fit, in my opinion. They will have money. They have a very bad power play. I believe TSN even mentioned at the beginning of the year they had a pretty decent power play. Then they have Panarin now, so you know, their power play just wasn't clicking towards the end of the season, and James Van Riemsdyk is a guy who can stand out front and he can score up front. We've seen it many times, a couple 30-goal seasons, and quite a few of them are out front on that power play. You know, we have Panarin, Jones, Wenberg. Dubois, I almost forgot. And, you know, they have a very good future, good young core. They've got a good team, and I think that they would be even better adding James Van Riemsdyk to that squad. Obviously, any of these teams would get better, and I think that they have to be looked at as one of the teams that could be a front runner to get him. The next team is the New Jersey Devils. They obviously have Hall, Heischer, they have cap room. They're a good team. This would be a good fit. I feel like his playing style would just be great for them, and it sucks to even say this stuff because I'd like to keep JVR. I'd love to have him on the Leafs, but the New Jersey Devils fit would be pretty cool. I'm not sure if it was the Devils or somebody else that he was a fan of growing up. I could be completely wrong. I thought I read it somewhere, but the Devils I feel like would just be a good fit playing behind Taylor Hall, and he would get a lot of power play ice time. I'm not sure about 5-on-5 ice time. That's another thing that's been brought up a lot, is that James Van Riemsdyk gets a little bit less 5-on-5 ice time for the type of player he is, just because of the fact that he's so good on the power play, and there's just been some issues with his 5-on-5 game, like speed and stuff like that, but he doesn't really have to be fast. He just has to get out front and score goals, and that's basically his job. So I think the Devils would be a good fit there. The next team is Carolina. They can't score goals, and even though every TSN article has said that, I mean, I think it's kind of obvious that they just can't score. They're a young team. You have Sebastian Aho, Teravainen, and Skinner, Stahl, Williams. Just adding a guy like JVR to take over and score a bunch of goals for them would really help. They've got a good young D core as well, a fairly young D core, and their team would just be probably a lot better adding a guy like James Van Riemsdyk, who can score goals and will be able to play with your top players and probably get them some more points too. He's not bad at dishing the puck. Not a ton of pressure on him. I mean, there will be a bit of pressure, but at the same time, they could spread out the scoring a little bit with Sebastian Aho, Teravainen, and Williams and Skinner, all those guys. It'd be nice, and then have JVR as a guy who could get it done. The last team that was mentioned, and I think that this was a team that I've mentioned before too, as much as it would suck to see him leave the Leafs, I think that him going to the Oilers would be the best fit. They would probably overpay. This is something I said in another video, that the Oilers are probably going to end up being a team that overpays for a free agent. More than likely a defenseman, and probably Karlsson, not the Ottawa Karlsson. By the way, Erik Karlsson, it's so unfortunate to hear what happened with their son. It's just terrible. So hopefully everything's good there with them. They're trying to recover from that. But the Karlsson from Washington is the defenseman I'm talking about that they might overpay for. But Van Riemsdyk might be a guy that can play with McDavid, score a bunch of goals. He would be a great addition to their team, in my opinion at least. They have the worst power play in the NHL, so adding a guy like JVR to score on their power play would help them a lot. He'd play with probably Draisaitl a bit, play with McDavid. Hopefully some of their young players will step up next year again. They're going to look to add a lot this summer because, Chiarelli's taken some heat for a lot of moves that he's made. I've given him crap, everybody has. But this would be a huge move, and I think it would benefit them more than any of the moves that he has made before. But yeah, will he take a pay cut if he wants to stay with the Toronto Maple Leafs? That's a question that I keep coming back around to. Could there be a sign-in trade? I don't think that that's likely. Also, I also wanted to bring up the point. I have, on my computer here, the wingers that are going to be available. James Neal, if he leaves Vegas, maybe Van Riemsdyk is a replacement there. A better player, in my opinion. Could get a lot of heat for that. I think that he would be a better fit, honestly. They're kind of equal players when it comes to what they do, but I think Van Riemsdyk would be a good fit there. I can see Neil wanting to stay, though. Evander Kane, Daniel Sedin, Grabner, Nash, Vanek, Maroon, Perron, and Komarov. I mean, you got to have Van Riemsdyk at the top of that list. He's a proven goal scorer, and he's not a guy that's hot and cold. He just gets it done. That's how Van Riemsdyk works. So yeah, I don't think I have anything else that I really wanted to mention here other than the fact that I think that Van Riemsdyk is going to free agency. He probably will be leaving the Leafs. And yeah, let me know what you guys think about this video. Make sure to be here for the live stream tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern. Gonna talk some hockey. I think there's a a Montreal Canadiens game. I can't remember who's playing tonight. Maybe Pittsburgh. I'm all over the place with the games. I've been watching so much hockey lately, but there probably is a game on. We'll watch that. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video or stream. Peace.